Well, good afternoon, good day, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of WTF Walk the Floors. I'm Stephanie Ledger of First Rate Hospitality, and I'm joined with my co-host, Michelle Klein of Klein Hospitality. How are you today, Michelle?
I'm doing great, Stephanie. I'm excited because we are getting very close to the hospitality show on HITEC. We have a bit of a competition going between both shows. So I'm excited that we're getting closer, and I'm excited about today's team that we have on the call.
Absolutely. Who do we have?
So we have Jess Martinelli from ComOps, and we have George Polliard. And what I think is the coolest thing about having them both here today is the fact that one of them will be at HITEC and one of them will be at the hospitality show. So I am very eager, boys, to know how is it that this is going to work out, but more so to be able to share with our audience out there, first off, what is ComOps all about? And then secondly, why was it so important for you to be at both shows? Because I have talked to so many colleagues out there who have had to make that decision. Do I go to Canada or do I stay in the US? Right? And how does that decision weigh in? So, George, if you want to start, just tell us a bit of what your role is within the company, what the company does in a nutshell. And then, Jess, we will move on to you for the same questions. And either one of you who wants to answer, why is it that it was important for your organization to be part of both shows, then we'll take a deep dive on that. So go for it.
Sure. Well, Stephanie, Michelle, it's great to be back. My second visit here to WTF, and excited.
Woohoo!
Yeah, excited to join you at the hospitality show in a couple of weeks. But I oversee the customer experience vertical here at ComOps. In a nutshell, ComOps offers strategy support and success operationally for a variety of businesses, mostly focused on hospitality. And we do that in 5 main areas. I oversee customer experience and employee sentiment. We also have practices around contact center, digital innovation and strategy, and revenue management. And I can go into more detail about that later, but we're very excited about the upcoming shows at the end of the month. And to many in the industry, HITEC in Toronto is one that likely you are familiar with. It's been attended by many people over many years. And then there's the newcomer, the hospitality show. And we had planned to join HITEC for many months. And we also decided to attend the hospitality show here in Las Vegas at the Venetian. And really the reason that we are attending both is that we want to network and get to know as many hospitality operators as possible. And we just couldn't make a decision about which one to go to. There were so many attendees going to both. So we decided to essentially split up. And Jess and one of our colleagues, Sue, are heading to Toronto for HITEC. And I will be at the hospitality show in Las Vegas with the two of you, Stephanie and Michelle, doing some podcasting from our booth. So we're looking forward to that.
That is so fantastic. Thank you for spilling the beans, by the way. Yes, we will have a hub at the booth with our beautiful people here at ComOps, and we are looking forward to seeing everyone there. Remind us, George, what the booth number is.
Yes, it is 1644 at the hospitality show.
Lovely. All right, Jess, what about you? Tell us a little bit about your role within the company. What are you most excited about? And then what are you looking for from HITEC?
Yeah. Well, first, thank you, Stephanie, and thank you, Michelle, for having me on the show. This is my first time, so it's a pleasure to be here. George already kind of has a leg up on me there. But I will be at the HITEC conference along with Sue Murphy. She's our Vice President of Revenue Management. I'm leading the sales effort here at ComOps. So I'd like to think that my network is what's going to really make the HITEC conference the powerhouse of the two. But I'll of course extend that a little bit over to the hospitality show, because we are one team here at ComOps, and I'm very excited for Toronto. This will be my first HITEC conference, and yeah, very, very thrilled to meet all these hospitality executives and share with them all the great stuff we're doing at ComOps for our existing clients, and looking for opportunities to grow with them. So.
Well, that's awesome. I would have to say you are looking forward to an amazing event at HITEC. Michelle and I were there last year in Orlando, and I mean, talk about with all the innovative technology, the networking with others that are in the technology space, and also too of just ones that are looking to seeing what else is out there to enhance on productivity and services for their guests and employees. So a lot to look forward to for your first time going to HITEC. It's such a bummer that both of them are at the same week, but I think both the conferences have learned their lesson on that for us in the hospitality industry and having to choose. But yes, HITEC's going to be amazing for you, Jess, and we can't wait to hear more about it, during your setup and hearing the journey of ComOps through HITEC.
So Stephanie just said during your setup, you know what that means, right, Jess? Even though you think you're in Toronto and we're not going to be bugging you, we will. We're going to make sure that we bug you during setup just to see when you can give us some snippets and, what is everything looking like, and get some people excited about visiting.
Well, I would expect nothing less, and it might be the sight to see, because setup in Toronto is a little bit different. We are going to be donning hard hats and yellow vests. The regulations over there are a little bit different than setting up a conference here in the U.S. And so we'll be sure to connect with you when we're all dressed up.
And we're surely looking forward to that.
Wow, that's very interesting of, just the regulations for setup of, I'm sure just, some people that are bringing very simple items for their setup, but then, making sure that you are abiding by the Canadian rules and regulations.
It's maybe not such a bad idea. I know you guys have experience with setting up booths too, and we're often dodging forklifts and pipes from booths swinging around. In fact, one has hit me in the head once, and
oh no.
Aside from the memory loss and some speech impediments, I'm pretty much normal. So,
are you serious?
Well, I did get hit in the head with a pipe, but I was fine. It was one of those really lightweight pipes, and it's just
so you wish you would have had a hard hat.
Yeah.
See, that's a WTF moment right there. Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's great. And George, what are you most looking forward to?
I think, Michelle, that it's a new show, and that it's the inaugural show is interesting. They've also, I think, the actual exhibition hours are pretty limited, which allows, I think, for a lot of engaging educational content and networking before and after. So I've really liked how they put this schedule together. It's not 3 or 4 days of 8 hours at the booth. The exhibition time is a little more streamlined, like I said. And it also seems like they have some great speakers lined up from both hospitality, but also technology, some big name executives, of course, from other industries and from hospitality. So excited to see some of that programming. And then there's a secret agent welcome reception, secret agent costume party welcome reception, which the costumes are optional, but I think that will be interesting as well. So some fun things to look forward to.
Very cool. Stephanie, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. No, for a hospitality show, I think George makes a good point of, talking about how the expo hours are very different than, say, traditional of how HITEC does their layout. And from even the others that we've been interviewing in preparation for the hospitality show is, everyone's been talking a lot too about the different educational moments and the breakout sessions, and also too with the networking, how this is very driven for the hospitality industry.
Very cool. What about the secret agent piece?
Oh, I'm totally looking for that. I mean, we are secret agents every day.
That's true. Yeah.
That's so great. So I understand that there is a bit of a competition happening between the two of you as it relates to the show. So Jess, do you want to walk us through so that we can get some wheels in motion with our audience as to what that competition looks like and what needs to happen for either or of you, either one of you or the other, language barrier alert, to move the needle and win this competition as far as the momentum that you're creating as you get closer to the shows. Walk us through it. What needs to happen?
Yeah, absolutely. George and I will be posting about the respective shows tomorrow. It's June 14th. I'll be posting, of course, about HITEC with some information about our booth and inviting people to reach out to set up booth meetings ahead of time. George will be sharing similar information just to keep us both as competitive as possible. And whoever gets the most likes and interaction, and this is on LinkedIn, whoever gets the most interactions, we're going to consider the winner. But there's really we're all going to be winners here as long as we get the most booth meetings. But I'm still going to buy myself a medal if I win, and I might send something George if he wins as well.
Yeah, that was one thing
I
we
love
didn't
that.
discuss.
We'll call it the WTF challenge, and then we'll get you that medal.
There you go.
There we go.
All right. So everyone out there, we have to go in and click and like their posts, see who's the most creative one and attracts the most. Or maybe that is an indicator of how successful each one of the shows will be based on who's going to one or the other conference. Although I know that there's a bit of a split, right? There's a lot of the brands that are sending their tech team to Toronto, but then they also have presence in Las Vegas. So I'm looking forward to that too. So here's another challenge that we have going on at WTF is related to the fact that now we are going to have, especially in Vegas, every hotelier sleeping under the same roof. So one of our recent guests brought up the fact that because you have all hoteliers using these elevators every morning and we all have hospitality in our veins, the joke is going to be who gets off the elevator first, right? No, please, after you. So that's another one that we're going to have to keep an eye out on and see what happens from there. So George, when you're at the Venetian, please pay attention to that so that you can report back and let us know what ComOps experience was like from that perspective.
Absolutely. Well, and there's no shortage of manners and in Toronto though as well. So I imagine that they'll be similarly polite there. But no, you're right. I think that will be interesting to see.
And I'd have to just add on too, we've been talking so much about both of the shows and who's attending, but there's so much of our audience, that unfortunately just how the dates are aligning, either the hotel has a big event that they can't send anyone to the shows, or us in Florida, it's our off season, so a lot of the leaders are taking their summer breaks during that time. But we also do really want to be able to encourage, even though you're not going to one of the shows, but still be engagement in our contest, but then also to reaching out to ComOps of how they can be able to assist your property.
Yeah, and Stephanie, thank you for mentioning that. And the way that you can find that is often on LinkedIn is really the best place for that. And of course, our website is comops.com. So yeah, lots of great information out there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Jess, what's your booth number at HITEC?
Booth number is 735.
735. Awesome. Yeah. All right. So this wouldn't be WTF if we wouldn't talk about WTF moments, right? But I want to start not first. We will go to your individual moments so that you can contribute to the cause. However, I want to talk a little bit more about what are those problems that ComOps brings a solution to.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever wants to take a stab at this one, just go for it.
Yeah, Michelle, I can speak briefly about
absolutely.
Customer experience and employee experience. And with that, we really look at the problem, as you mentioned, being understanding the sentiment of both team members and, more importantly, sometimes guests at hospitality operations around the world. And often that comes in the form of surveying or capturing social media online feedback, and also, of course, team member engagement surveys. And my practice is entirely on that discipline, making sure that we're listening to those individuals, that we're responding to that feedback, that we're acting on that feedback, all in the spirit of continuous improvement. And for many hotel operators, using a tool like that might already be in place. But we actually find that there's a lot out there that perhaps it was something that was cut during the pandemic, or perhaps there's new management and there hasn't been interest in guest feedback. And we have tools at our disposal to really reignite that interest. Again, at the end of the day, the goal being to improve customer experiences, to increase team member retention, and at the end of the day, really engage the entire operation around that. So that's customer experience and employee sentiment. And happy to discuss that more in person, hopefully at the hospitality show with some folks. And maybe I'll let Jess talk about some of our other areas of practice.
Yeah,
Jess?
Yeah. Thank you, George. And if anybody at HITEC wants to talk about customer or employee experience, about that too in Toronto. So, but as far as the other verticals at ComOps, one of our largest verticals is the contact center operations. So ComOps provides contact center agents to support hospitality organizations with inbound calls, PBX related calls, and we also do outbound calling as well. We just keep seeing stories in the news over and over every week still about shortages in staff, and the contact center at properties all over the world is not immune to that. So how long does it take for someone calling into your property to spend money, to ask a question? How long before they're talking to someone? We have our standards set pretty high at ComOps, and we answer the phone quickly. We answer the questions properly, and we have the highest standard as far as each agent goes to really provide a excellent level of service and earn some incremental revenue along the way through upselling. Revenue management is another vertical at ComOps, and it's similarly affected by the pandemic and staffing shortages. A lot of properties out there aren't necessarily giving enough attention to revenue management because they don't have the bandwidth. ComOps has some of the best minds in hospitality when it comes to revenue management. We can help support that as well. Lastly is digital transformation, digital innovation. Are you getting the most out of your digital products that you already have on property? Are they all coexisting smoothly together? Are you backed up on digital projects, IT projects? This is something we continue to earn more projects with properties across the country here in the U.S., and we're looking to expand globally as well. So yeah, that's ComOps in a 2-minute nutshell.
There you go. That's great. All right. So to the WTF mouth opening moment where you both feel like if leadership would have managed from outside of their office, things could have been different. Whether it is that it has to do with team member engagement or understanding the product or the service or delivering great service or understanding what your customer base looks like. What is that one moment that you can say, George, this is it? This was the worst or the biggest mouth opening where I was grabbing my head thinking, how can this possibly happen?
Well, what I'm going to share is actually comes to mind because it was very recent, and it involves rental cars. No, a little bit different, but still hospitality. And in short, I had a $50 credit for a particular rental car company from a billing issue with a rental a year ago. And I had it in email from the company. I even had a ticket number and a claim number. I was ready to go, and I wanted to use that on an upcoming rental, actually at the end of this week. And when making the reservation, there was no way to put that in. It didn't work as a coupon code or a gift card or anything like that. And so I called the company, and the call center agent said, even though I had the ticket number and the case number and all of that, they said, you need to go online and email customer support. Here's where you can find that information. Okay, fair enough. So I go online and I find the email, and I email a nice email, and here's my reservation number. Here's all the information. No response. I wait a couple of days, still no response, and I email them again with the same information and absolutely no response. And then what do I do at that point? And that was for me, that was the WTF moment that I just couldn't, it was hard to engage with them. It was challenging. And finally, the way that I actually engaged with them and got a response very quickly is shocking, was through Twitter. I DM'd them on Twitter, and they responded almost immediately and were able to update my account and my upcoming reservation. And the WTF moment for me was that Twitter is not a channel that I typically use to communicate with a brand, and it's not my preferred channel. My preferred channel would have been to online, and then perhaps or through their website, perhaps chat, perhaps phone call, text message, everything but Twitter. And it just created this frustration that really should not have occurred. And Michelle, to kind of think about how ComOps could help, gosh, there could be a number of different ways. It could be from our contact center team supporting simply the capabilities. It could be managing Twitter through our customer experience platform, a number of different things there. But the kind of the WTF moment, again, for me is, why is there not a system in place for that to work? And it just created, again, this frustration that I wish wasn't there. And to be honest, it makes me think differently about which rental car company I'll use next time I need a rental car.
Yeah, a huge opportunity for them to enhance service right off the bat. Now, I would say kudos to the community manager who actually replied.
Agreed.
Right? And gave you the direction and assisted with making this happen and making it great. So whoever that person is, kudos to you.
Absolutely.
Very nice. Jess, what's your story?
My story is, well, I'm a casino guy. So based in gaming, I was staying at a property a couple years ago in Las Vegas, and I was participating or trying to participate in a slot tournament, which if not everybody out there is familiar with the slot tournament, you basically just slam a button for 3 minutes over and over again and hope that you have the highest score. but they are pretty punctual as far as when they start, specifically when your time slot starts. And I was in my room trying to finish up a conversation I was having with a client at the time, actually. So, this was after hours, but still putting in the work. And I was trying to call down from my phone in the room and figure out what time my slot tournament started, and was unable to speak to a human. I actually just waited on hold. Just one of those moments where you hit speaker and then you continue to do whatever you're doing in your hotel room. And it just seemed like 15 minutes go by and nobody answers the phone through the PBX system. Couldn't go down and go check it out myself. I was already doing something, and it's unfortunate because I missed that opportunity to participate, and I'm sure I would have come in first place and won $30,000. So that's pretty big missed opportunity there. But overall, it applies to what we do at ComOps, because we do answer those PBX calls. We answer all phone calls for a property if needed, and we do it very quickly. And we're able to transfer those calls to the right person right away. And that's how we set things up so that people don't miss opportunities. People don't have to leave their room. People don't feel like they're not being heard. That's something we solve very easily here.
So next thing you know, you're already brushing your teeth and getting ready to put yourself in bed, and you're still on hold. You're like, wait, was I on hold for this long? I didn't even remember that I was still on the call with them. That is great. Well, I'm glad there's a solution out there, right? For all of this, delivering the right type of service, representing the brand the right way too. Because how many times do we have those WTF moments with perhaps outsourced in specific countries where there's a huge language barrier, and now they don't know what the service for that specific brand would look like, and so on. So that, I think, it's a differentiator, and that's just really cool for a hospitality lover like me.
Yeah, great stories, guys. Thank you so much for sharing. And we look forward to hearing from both of you on conference week. I guess we're going to start calling it, between the hospitality show and HITEC, and really seeing the engagement from both conferences.
Yeah, very exciting. Thank you both so much for helping ComOps share the good word about all we have to offer the hospitality industry, and looking forward to more competition as we get closer and closer.
Sounds good. So Jess, when should we be on the lookout to the post that we have to like, or perhaps not do anything?
I would say
for?
That's going to be Wednesday, June 14th, sometime between 6 a.m. and 12 p.m. Pacific time. So
sounds good. Excellent.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that starting time because I'm going to post mine earlier than George. So.
You got it.
And thank you, George, for being on as well. We look forward to hanging out with you at the booth 1644 at the hospitality show.
Likewise, yes, we're looking forward to it, and excited to see how this competition goes. But nonetheless, it'll be a successful conference week, I think, for everyone involved. So again, Stephanie, Michelle, we appreciate you having us on.
Thank you both. We'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you.